Hey everyone, welcome back to Easy Canadian English. I'm Sarah,
And I'm Mike, and today we're talking about health and staying active.
which is such a common topic in everyday conversation. Like whether it's at work, with friends, or at a family gathering, someone is always talking about their workout routine, or a new diet they're trying, or how they've been getting outside more.
It's just one of those topics that comes up naturally all the time. And in Canada, I think there's a real culture around being active. Partly because of the seasons, partly just because there's so much space and nature here.
Absolutely. And staying active looks really different depending on the time of year, which is something that's pretty unique to countries with four seasons.
Right, what you do to stay active in January versus July is completely different.
So, we'll talk about all of that: seasonal activities, gym culture, how Canadians talk about health and wellness, and some useful vocabulary and phrases for these kinds of conversations.
Let's get into it.
Okay, so let's start with summer because I think that's when most Canadians are at their most active.
For sure, when the weather finally turns warm, people just want to be outside. Like you've been cooped up all winter and suddenly it's 17, 18 degrees and sunny, and you just go outside.
You go outside and you don't come back in.
Exactly. So, what are the most popular summer activities for staying active in Canada?
Walking and hiking are huge. Like, just walking, it sounds simple, but Canadians walk a lot in the summer. Walking to work, walking in parks, walking along river paths and trails.
Most Canadian cities have really good trail systems, like river valley trails, waterfront paths. They get very busy in the summer with walkers, joggers, and cyclists.
Cycling is massive too. A lot of cities have added bike lanes in recent years, and more people are commuting by bike in the warmer months.
I try to bike to work in the summer when I can. It's such a nice way to start the day. You get some exercise and you arrive feeling awake and energized.
Rather than sitting in traffic feeling frustrated.
Exactly. Much better for the mood.
Running is really popular too. There's a strong running culture in Canada. 5Ks, 10Ks, half marathons, full marathons. Most cities have organized races throughout the summer.
Have you ever done a race?
I've done a couple of 5Ks, yeah. Nothing too serious, but there's something really motivating about having a race to train for. It gives you a goal.
That's the thing about fitness in general. Having a goal or a reason makes it so much easier to stay consistent.
There's swimming, outdoor pools, lakes, rivers. Canadians love to swim in the summer.
Swimming in a lake is such a quintessential Canadian summer experience, yeah? If you've never jumped off a dock into a cold Canadian lake, you haven't lived.
It's freezing and it's perfect.
Freezing and perfect. That's Canadian summer swimming in 4 words.
And then activities like kayaking, canoeing, paddleboarding, those have gotten really popular in the last 10 or 15 years.
Yeah, you see paddleboards on every lake now. It's become really accessible. You can rent them pretty easily at most lakes and waterways.
Which is great because it's a fantastic workout, especially for your core. And it's also just really peaceful and beautiful.
Okay, so winter. This is where it gets interesting. Because in a lot of countries, winter means you stay inside and your activity level drops. But in Canada, there's a real attitude of you don't let the cold stop you,
There's actually a saying, there's no bad weather, only bad clothing.
which I think is very Canadian.
Very Canadian. And it's kind of true. If you dress properly for the cold, you can be quite comfortable outside, even in January.
So, what are the big winter activities?
Skiing and snowboarding are huge. Canada has incredible ski resorts. Whistler in BC is world famous, but there are great hills all across the country.
Even in provinces that aren't known for mountains, like Ontario or Quebec, there are ski hills that people drive to on weekends.
It's a big family activity. A lot of Canadian kids learn to ski or snowboard when they're pretty young.
I learned when I was about 7 or 8. My parents took us to a small hill, signed us up for lessons, and I've loved it ever since.
Same story for a lot of Canadians. And then skating. Outdoor skating is such a beloved winter tradition.
Skating on an outdoor rink in a park or on a frozen pond or canal, it's magical. The Rideau Canal in Ottawa is one of the longest naturally frozen skating rinks in the world, and thousands of people skate on it every winter.
People skate to work on it, which is just the most Canadian thing I can imagine.
Gates, briefcase, Tim Hortons in hand.
That is the image. And then snowshoeing has gotten more popular. It's a really accessible winter activity because you don't need any special skills. You strap on the snowshoes and you walk.
It's a great way to get into the backcountry in winter and see the landscape when it's all snow-covered. Really peaceful.
And cross-country skiing is popular too, especially in communities with maintained trail systems.
For people who want to stay active indoors in winter, hockey, obviously, but also curling, indoor rock climbing, swimming at a community center.
Community centers are a big part of Canadian fitness culture, actually. Most towns and cities have a recreation center, usually called a rec center, with a pool, a gym, an ice rink, fitness classes.
And they're usually pretty affordable compared to private gyms. A lot of families get a membership to the rec center, and that covers skating, swimming, drop-in fitness classes, all of it.
It's a really good value, and it's community-oriented, which I like.
Okay, let's talk about gym culture in Canada, because that's a big part of the fitness conversation.
It really is. Gym memberships are super common. A lot of Canadians join a gym, especially in the winter months when outdoor activity is harder.
And there are all kinds of gyms: big commercial chains, smaller boutique studios, CrossFit gyms, yoga studios, spin studios.
The options are pretty endless, and there's been a big growth in things like yoga, Pilates, and bar classes over the last decade or so.
Yeah, fitness has become much more varied. It's not just lifting weights or running on a treadmill anymore.
Which is great because it means there's something for everyone.
What do you do to stay active, Sarah?
Honestly, I go through phases. Sometimes I'm really consistent about going to the gym, sometimes I fall off the wagon, and it's just walking the dog.
Fall off the wagon. That's a great phrase. It means you stop doing something you had committed to, like a routine or a healthy habit.
Right, like I was going to the gym 5 days a week and then I fell off the wagon and now it's been 3 weeks. Very relatable.
Very relatable. I think most people go through that cycle. You get motivated, you build a routine, life gets busy, you fall off the wagon, and then you get back on track.
Get back on track, another good one. It means returning to the right path or routine after a setback.
These are phrases you'll hear constantly in conversations about health and fitness. Things like, I'm trying to get back into it, or I've been really good lately, or I need to be better about going to the gym.
Or I've been really sedentary lately. Sedentary means not very active, sitting a lot.
Desk jobs make that a real issue for a lot of people. You sit at a computer all day, and by the time you're done work, the last thing you want to do is exercise.
Which is why a lot of people work out in the morning before work, to get it done before the day takes over.
I am not a morning workout person at all. I genuinely admire people who get up at 5:30 to go to the gym.
I'm the same. It sounds great in theory.
In theory, always great. In practice, when the alarm goes off at 5:30,
No, absolutely not.
but honestly, the best workout is the one you'll actually do, whatever fits your schedule and your personality.
That's such good advice. There's no one right way to stay active.
Let's talk about how health comes up in everyday Canadian conversation, because it's not always about fitness specifically. It's also about talking about being sick, going to the doctor, that kind of thing.
Right, so one really common phrase, I'm feeling under the weather.
Under the weather, meaning you're not feeling well. Maybe you have a cold coming on, you're a bit tired or run down.
It's a gentle way of saying you're sick. Like, I'm feeling a bit under the weather today is less dramatic than I'm really sick.
And in Canada, a lot of people push through and go to work even when they're feeling under the weather, which, depending on who you ask, is either admirable or irresponsible.
Especially after the pandemic, I think people are more aware of staying home when they're sick.
For sure. And then there's the phrase, I'm run down, meaning you're exhausted, your immune system is low, you've been doing too much.
I haven't been sleeping well and I'm just completely run down. Very relatable at certain times of year, like the end of a busy work period or right after the holiday.
And burning the candle at both ends, which means you've been pushing yourself too hard, working too much, not getting enough rest.
Classic. And then on the positive side, I've been feeling really good lately, or I've been taking better care of myself.
Taking care of yourself is a big phrase in Canadian wellness culture right now. Like self-care has become a really common concept.
Yeah, the idea that you need to look after your mental health as well as your physical health. Taking breaks, getting enough sleep, spending time doing things you enjoy.
And that's talked about much more openly now than it used to be. Like it's completely normal to say, I need to take a mental health day, meaning a day off work to rest and recharge, not because of a physical illness.
Which used to feel like something you couldn't really say out loud, but now it's pretty accepted.
That's been a really positive shift, I think.
Agreed. And for language learners, being able to talk about your health, how you're feeling, what you do to stay active, it's just such youthful everyday vocabulary.
It comes up all the time, even just small talk. Have you been getting outside much? Or I've been trying to walk more. These are the kinds of things people say to each other constantly.
It's a way of connecting, of checking in on each other. Health is something we all care about.
All right, today we talked about health and staying active in Canada. Summer activities like hiking, cycling, and swimming, winter activities like skiing, skating, and snowshoeing, gym culture and fitness routines, and the everyday language Canadians use when talking about health and wellness.
And we covered some really useful phrases: falling off the wagon, getting back on track, feeling under the weather, run down, burning the candle at both ends.
All very common in everyday Canadian conversation. Thanks so much for listening to Easy Canadian English.
If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe and leave us a comment. We'd love to know what you do to stay active. See you next time.
Bye, everyone. This brings us to the end of episode 17. Let's take a minute to review the vocabulary and phrases highlighted in this episode. Cooped up. Confined indoors for a long time.
Quintessential, the most perfect or typical example of something.
Fall off the wagon. To stop following a routine or healthy habit you had committed to.
Get back on track, to return to the right routine or path after a setback.
Sedentary. Not very physically active, sitting for long periods.
Under the weather, feeling unwell or slightly sick.
Run down. Exhausted, physically depleted.
Burning the candle at both ends. Overworking yourself, not getting enough rest.
Mental health day. A day off work taken to rest and recharge mentally.
Self-care, the practice of looking after your own physical and mental well-being.
Boutique studio. A small, specialized fitness studio,